Let me say that again because I was like, prime example. Don't go,
Please.
Tips for artists because
She
loves you. Greetings, all you awesome creative humans out there. So recently, Rafi had an amazing art show at Luna Fine Art Gallery. And because it was such a special, awesome occasion, I did a thing. I talked myself into doing this before I could talk myself out of it. That's what happened. And that's the only reason this is happening. When I decided this was a good idea, the show was still like, I don't know, 3 weeks away. So I was like, yeah, great. I'll totally do this.
It's a couple hours away now.
Now it's a couple hours away. And I'm like, I volunteered myself to give a speech at his art opening.
You were like, ah!
Yeah.
On the inside.
Yeah.
And the outside.
Yes. Luckily, Rafi was hugely supportive. Whether it goes well or it goes horribly wrong, it'll be great footage.
Especially if it goes horribly wrong. Here's hoping.
Nerd. Now, this was my first ever public speaking engagement in my adult life. And while it was a far cry from high school Klee's riveting rendition of 5 persuasive points on brushing your tongue and the benefits therein, it was still completely nerve-wracking for me. I don't consider myself an expert on public speaking, having given... Damn. I don't consider myself an expert by any means at this point, having given 1 speech. However, there are some things that really helped me. And I know a lot of you guys out there are artroverts and you're facing fears and you're putting yourselves out there. And some of you might find yourselves in a situation where you have to give a talk or say something at an event. And so hopefully these things might help you out too. Tip number 1, if you're going to be saying more than a sentence or 2, write it down. It's 2 pages, but it's like 16-point Arial font. So it's not like 2 pages. It's just big font so I can read it. You can remove the pressure of having to wing it or ad-lib when you get up there. It's already stressful enough to be speaking in public. So write it down beforehand. A lot of people think that it's inauthentic to pre-write what you're going to say. But honestly, I think it's completely authentic to acknowledge that you pre-wrote what you're going to say, that you thought about it because you want to be able to convey your thoughts when you get up there. It's also, in my mind, completely okay to acknowledge to your audience that you're nervous. They'll totally understand. Most people are utterly terrified to speak in public. But Klee, don't you guys ad-lib all of your YouTube videos and live streams? Yes, we do. In fact, I'm ad-libbing right now, and... but I do have a bullet list so that I can, ooh, shiny, a bullet list of my main points so I can make sure I cover everything with you guys. Also, videos and live streams are a different animal from speaking in front of a live crowd. Squirrel. Ultimately, with this tip, use a full script, use a bullet list of your main points, or whatever you're comfortable with. Or if you're more comfortable winging it, then do that. You fast-thinking, clever freak of nature.
Why are you looking at me? I am a fast-thinking, clever freak of nature.
I know, you are a special human, and I know there are a lot of your variety of fast-thinking, clever freaks of nature out there.
Notice how she called me, like, special human. I know what that means. I know what that means!
Tip number 2, give yourself plenty of time to prepare, like as much time as possible. 1 week is good. 2 weeks is better. 1 day is not so good.
My little speech on my note card, the day of.
Yeah, you did.
And then proceeded to not follow anything that I had written down, which...
Testing. Okay. Yeah, that wasn't awkward at all. Hi. So, obviously, I don't have a speech typed out, but I do have my speech. Hopefully you guys will.
You delivered a wonderful speech.
I did, didn't I?
It just had nothing to do with your little note card.
No, it didn't.
Tip number 3, once you have something written, read it aloud. This is hugely helpful. I know, it's awkward as hell. You're gonna need to do it anyway. And here's the reason. Here's my reason. I don't write the same way that I talk. Devised to hold on, let me try that again. To uncompromisingly communicate. Who wrote this? Things that read well on paper don't always talk so good. Once you start reading your speech aloud, you might find that certain things that you wrote just don't quite convey or they're hard to say. And so then you want to make small revisions so that you can make sure that you're saying what you want to say while also conveying what you wrote. As a side point though, don't revise your speech too many times because then you run the risk of getting it all jumbled up in your memory. And definitely stop revising and editing at least 2 days before your speech. And I've revised it
She keeps
at least 8
revising
times.
it, and I'm like, you need to just print this out. Just print it out.
I gotta call it good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then I keep adding
It's so
stuff to it.
good. It's so good.
Definitely broke this rule and was still trying to revise like right up until, and he was like, print it!
Print
the
it out.
speech!"
Print it out. You're done.
What you wrote is good at that point, so trust in it. Tip number 4, be you. You're not putting on a performance. You're talking. And I say this from personal experience because when I first started reading my speech out loud,
Hello, I am Klee.
but you have to go through the bell curve of like, hello, do you have a moment to talk about the benefits of car insurance? And then to swing too far in the other direction of like, and then this happened because I'm a wild and crazy guy. And then to level out to the to be myself.
Yeah, we all have to go through that in order to know who we are and be ourselves. And honestly, I think that that's one of the reasons it's important that you put yourself out there.
Indeed.
You know, because if not, if you go out there and if you're like, hi,
I don't know who I am.
yeah, you just put yourself out there like that. Yeah, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was like, theater! And I was overemphasizing words and my voice didn't sound natural to me and it was really awkward. And actually Rafi pointed out like, you're you, but you're kind of like level 12 you right now. You can bring it down and still convey the emotion. Tip number 5, humor is a great thing to incorporate in any speech, but if you are wanting to incorporate humor in your speech, I find that it's more comfortable to relay a funny story or an experience that happened as like a funny aside, rather than trying to incorporate like random one-liners. Have you heard of the restaurant on the moon? Great food, but no atmosphere. One of the scariest things in giving a speech is if you do incorporate humor and it doesn't land and you don't get the response you want, that can be really scary. I did insert a few Klee style jokes into my speech, which I'm extra nervous about because then my humor is special. So then
Obviously, people love your special humor.
so if the room is silent and I'm like, and blah, 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 and then no one laughs, I'm going to be like, so if you're telling a humorous story rather than dropping in a one-liner, if it doesn't land the way you want to, it's okay because then you just move on with the rest of your speech. And chances are the audience is going to find it endearing and wonderful, even if you don't get the laugh.
I'm surprised that you didn't do any dad jokes. You know, you had a microphone in your hand.
Yeah, and when you're giving a speech, you should always practice with a microphone because it'll always give you feedback.
I blame the patrons for this. They encourage you and your dad jokes.
Tip number 6. Read your speech aloud. I know we already covered reading your speech aloud, but read your speech aloud to another human and make sure that it's a human that you trust who's going to give you honest feedback and constructive criticism. This was hugely helpful for me. Obviously, I read my speech to Rafi, which was awkward because the speech was for him, but at the same time, I trusted him to give me feedback, and he gave me really great feedback that was super helpful.
Honey, are you scared?
A little, yeah, I'm scared, but mostly I'm excited. Tip number 7, and we're still on practicing your speech. You're gonna end up hearing this a lot from me. Read your speech aloud every day leading up to the speech, at least one time a day. So what I did was I would read my speech aloud in the evening a couple hours before bedtime. And then when I would lay down in bed at night, I would actually go over the speech in my head just to see how much of the speech I was retaining and whether I was actually committing it to memory.
Yeah, I could feel you practicing your speech in bed.
Could you feel like
Yeah, it was like, yeah, exactly.
Don't torture yourself though, okay? Like don't spend the whole night laying in bed nightmaring about your speech. Give yourself a cutoff. Like I'm gonna go over this once and that's it. Then sleepy time. Tip number 8, and this might be the most important one of all. Have your freak out. When the day arrives and the day is there that you're gonna give your speech, have your freak out. It's gonna happen. Don't fight it. Let it happen. And then, after the terror passes, see if you can channel that nervous energy into excitement. So I had my freak out. Yeah, I was good. And then I went to eat an apple and some peanut butter, and my body went into fight or flight. It was like my body couldn't handle eating and the upcoming speech. I called it my apple attack. Channeling all of this. I'm channeling all of this energy into excitement. I'm gonna laugh. If something goes sideways during the speech, I'm going to allow myself to laugh. I'm picturing myself having a good time and it being fun and funny. And that worked for me. And it sounds cliche, but see if you can do that, because the freak out is inevitable, but you can take that energy and make it something powerful and positive for yourself. Tip number 9, get to the venue early. Now, this is really good advice, whether you're giving your speech or not, whether you're doing a show or whatever's going on. It's really helpful to get to the venue early.
3, testing, 1, 2, 3.
Very nice. Okay, let's hear that again, please.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3.
One of the most terrifying moments for me was when I finally laid eyes on the stage that I would be speaking. You don't want to walk in and then have to go right into it. So it's helpful if you can lay eyes on the space, and even if there's time, stand there and really get a feel for what it's going to feel like, and even practice the speech in the space before the event happens. And also getting there early is a good idea for any other weird incidents that might occur, and make sure you watch your step. I almost just fell into that cactus. So,
Yeah, that's
you know,
to get it started.
if it's gonna happen, might as well do that now. Tip number 10, trust your mind and yourself. When the moment comes, you'll be surprised how capable you are. Something miraculous happened when I finally got behind that microphone to deliver the speech. I was calm. My subconscious mind, or whatever part of your mind retains this information, right, had actually tossed away all the fluff that I didn't need, retained all the things that I needed to say, and I found that I remembered the vast majority of the speech and was able to deliver it how I wanted to. Hi. This is amazing. I'm thrilled to be here, and I'm actually quite terrified to be here, as I don't do public speaking. I've never spoken in public, but I wanted to face a fear. Because Rafi's going to get up here and he's going to most likely talk about everyone and everything but him. And I do attribute that to the preparation and all the emotional work that I did. But trust that you've got this, and you will be able to get up there and deliver. The mind is an incredible thing. And if you let it do its job, it will.
Honestly, I knew how nervous you were going into this. I experienced you trying to do public speaking like 9 years ago when we did that thing in Key West.
This is not good.
And it was, I mean, you were so bad that you threw me off.
I know.
And so like this time I was like, okay, she's got this. She's got this. She's got this. And honestly, my jaw dropped when you did your speech. You did so well.
Thank you.
You were so confident. You were nailing it. You nailed every part of that speech.
There were 2 versions of me standing up there giving the speech. One version of me was giving the speech, and the other version of me was going, whoa, this is going well. I can't believe how well this is going. And then I was like, stop interrupting me, other me.
Yeah.
Tip number 11. Just about everyone will tell you not to look at the audience directly when delivering a speech, but personally, I find this impossible to do. I don't know why. Maybe some people can do that, look above the head, they say, right? I couldn't help but to look into the audience because I wanted to see if people were connecting with me. But what I did was I picked out 3 people, I think pick out 2 or 3 people who seem to be responsive to what you're saying, and just let your eyes kind of wander to those people. Obviously, Rafi was there, so my eyes went to him a lot, but there were about 3 other people in the audience that were really receptive, and so I was able to look at their smiling faces and feel good in that
I
moment.
think that even if you don't find anybody, maybe if you're nervous about doing a speech, like maybe have a plant, have not like a plant, like a fern or something. Have a fern in the front row and
With
just stare
googly
at the
eyes.
fern. Yeah. I mean, you could do it, I guess, but plant somebody in the audience that is going to
Respond to you.
and that way you could always refer back to that person.
And as the last measure, a fern with googly eyes,
a
definitely.
fern with googly eyes. If you have no friends, then a fern is your friend.
That needs to be a t-shirt. And also, as an aside here, don't let people's faces be your barometer for how your speech is going.
Even when people are really enjoying something,
Their face doesn't always know
their
it.
face doesn't show it. So
Yeah.
if you get up there and you're looking around the room and you see a bunch of droned, faces just like staring at you, and they're really into what you're saying, but they're not expressing it, it could actually cause you to like freak.
People's faces might look blank, but they're really engaged with you. So don't let blank expressions make you feel like it's not going well. Tip number 12, wear something that makes you feel amazing. You would be surprised at how good you feel if you're getting dressed and you're getting ready and you're wearing something that makes you feel amazing and empowered and beautiful or handsome or magical, and not what you're supposed to wear to a thing or what your mom thinks you should wear or what's appropriate to wear. Wear something that makes you feel incredible. It will give you a self-esteem boost getting up there. And pick it out not the day of, because the day of you don't want to give yourself any
I should be able to get ready in 30 minutes. Yeah.
if you, so yes.
Yeah,
you
it'll
can.
be fine.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. I'm not going to look as fancy or as beautiful. So, yeah.
feel like a new man. And I have one final bonus tip for you guys, and this really made me feel better to think about before going into the speech, which was, even if it doesn't go exactly the way you planned, it's not the end of the world. It doesn't mean you're a failure, and it doesn't mean you're terrible, and it doesn't mean you can't get up there and try again sometime. It's one moment. You prepared for it. Even if something goes mildly wrong with it, it's okay. And also remember that most of your audience would be utterly terrified to be standing up there doing what you're doing. So they're going to have mad respect for you, and they're going to appreciate you, and they're not going to judge you the way that you might think that they would. So just get up there and do it, and know that you're a total badass. And those are my tips. And like I said, I'm not an expert, having given one speech, but I was so scared beforehand, and I was so on top of the world afterwards for having faced that fear. And so I wanted to put this together because hopefully some of this you guys might find helpful in facing your fears, especially when it comes to the terrors of public speaking. And guys, please let me know if you have any tips or best practices for public speaking, or if I missed anything in this video. What do you guys do to prepare? How do you get ready for something like this? Or are you currently getting ready to do public speaking, and did you find this helpful? By the way, you guys, if you're interested in watching my full speech and Rafi's wonderful, incredible art event, you can actually find the full live stream for that on our adventure channel. We'll put the link below. I want to say a special thank you to our patrons and our Rogue family, who not only make these videos possible, but who joined us on the live stream and cheered us on for our live event. You guys are incredible. I don't know what we would do without you. Thank you guys so much for watching. You are all so amazing, and as you know, Rafi and I totally adore you. And if you like this and you want to watch more like this or the Rafi variety or the Rafi and Klee variety, just click right over here to subscribe. And that's it. Good day.